Master Duel content, people. Let's go. So this first duel is classic Master King control. It's going to be some very interesting stuff going on here. My opponent's turn first, they activate Shard of Greed. Got their little rescue rabbit. Pot of Greed is obviously the best mate. So start off with Tour Guide. Going to summon Fiendish Rhino Warrior straight into the battle phase for whatever reason. Main phase 2, activate Void Apocalypse. Use its effect. Get rid of the backjack to send Vice King Requiem into the graveyard. They get a nice little shard token. That's always brilliant, isn't it? And they activate another Shard of Greed, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. I'm going to activate Give and Take. Target my Tour Guide, put Vice King Requiem onto their side of the field. So now we may have stunted their entire game plan because we have locked them straight into DDD only monsters. Now we just do our little Master King shenanigans. Rhino Warrior's effect is going to send Heiress into the graveyard. Then we've got a chain link situation going on. So Master King is going to chain block the Heiress, and we rolled a 1 straight back into our hand. It's not too bad, not too shabby. Archfiend Heiress is going to search for Staff of Despair. This lets us basically pay 1,000 life points whenever we want in order to search for more Archfiend cards. And then we have our Dark Spirit in our hand. We have Set, Unending Nightmare, and we have Staff of Despair. So Unending Nightmare, every turn, I just pay 1,000 life points, destroy a face-up spell or trap card on the field. It's pretty cool. And because we pay 1,000, we're going to send Heiress straight into the graveyard, and we can basically get an Heiress search every single turn, because then we just roll the dice, send it straight back into the deck, search for whatever we want, in this case, Archfiend Emperor. They literally can't do anything, so they're going to attempt to attack over our Master King. Then we're just going to use Unending Nightmare to send Farther into the graveyard to banish that Vice King. Now in my head I thought, well, maybe if it banishes it, then it will come onto my side of the field and maybe I can, you know, swing for game or something. But actually that's not what happens. I just banish it, and then at the end of the turn it just goes back onto their side of the field. So they're still locked into DDD monsters. So pretty much I just need to stall out until I have enough damage to swing for game. So here, Void Apocalypse, send a couple of Dark Spirits into the graveyard, use Staff of Despair and Master King Archfiend, pay 1,000 life points. Get a search, recycle the Staff of Despair, and then we will send Heiress for another search, and then we're going to have Master King's effect activate twice because we paid 1,000 life points again. So we get 2 meals for the price of 1, which is not too bad. So Farther is going to banish, and that way we get it off the field, Vice King, so we can attack directly. So here we go. Farther, just banish the Vice King. Master King, roll the dice. It was a 2. Pop Farther straight back into the deck for use next turn, which is pretty cool. Normal summon Emperor. Then just swing for 3,500 damage. That's all we can do at this point. And then at the end of the turn, we're going to put Staff of Despair back onto Master King, and then our Emperor will destroy itself, recycling both of our Dark Spirits to protect ourselves. So this is quite a useful thing, because if maybe Vice King needs to crash, we can always use Dark Spirit of Banishment to protect our monster by just summoning a Fiend in defense mode. So their turn, again, they're just going to try and beat over our monster. Like I say, just revive Empress, shove it in defense mode, attacks it, destroys it, and then we get Empress's effect to revive the Archfiend Emperor onto our side of the field. So our turn, just banish an Archfiend card with Emperor's effect, destroy one of their cards, and then we'll just equip it with Axe of Despair, nice 4k attack. I'm pretty sure it's game at this point. So we use Unending Nightmare to tribute the Axe of Despair, and because we paid 1,000 life points, check this out, we get to not only put Axe of Despair back into our deck, but now we get to search for an Archfiend card, and we get to revive a Dark Spirit because we tributed a level 8 or higher monster. Master King's going to resolve. We're going to roll the dice. It's a 1, so Heiress goes back into our hand, which is pretty cool. Dark Spirit of Banishment recycles back into our hand, and then the Heiress is going to search for a deal with Dark Ruler, which will then activate. We summon Berserk Dragon straight from the deck, and then we swing for game. Alright, straight into the second game. Looks like a sort of Dark Magician type deck. Magician's Rod going to search for Dark Magical Circle. It's going to search for another Dark Magical Circle, because, okay. And they're literally going to do nothing else. So this is my kind of game. So we draw Falling Down, which is basically Snatch Deal, and we may as well use it to take their monster and then swing for a bit of damage. Very much feels like GOAT format in this particular case. Link both of those off. That is going to go into, what's it going to be, people? Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. Use its effect. Mill Rhino Warrior straight into the graveyard. Rhino Warrior's effect is going to send Archfiend Empress. And then we're going to set Call of the Archfiend so that we can bring it back next turn. Their turn, they have their second Dark Magical Circle, people. It doesn't get any stronger than this. And then a skilled Dark Magician. What? So it's basically GOAT format. It really is. I don't know why didn't they just summon it first? At least get a token. Anyway, end of their turn, we're just going to revive Archfiend Empress onto our side of the field. We drew Lava Golem, not that it matters. Use Call of the Archfiend, revive Summon Skull, the best Archfiend. Backjack's effect's going to activate and just sort of fix our top deck a little bit. And we just sort of beat over their monsters, basically. Just sort of swing for a couple of damage. And then we're going to link both of those off into Master King Archfiend. That will let us just recycle. We'll revive our Empress next turn just for a bit of extra damage. Oh my goodness, so basically I'm pretty sure My opponent may have bricked into oblivion. They drew 3 dark magical circles. This is not going well. And then they surrendered. So enough with the embarrassment, people. Let's go straight into game 3, and hopefully this one is a bit more of a challenging game. But we go first. We're going to summon Archfiend Heiress, pay 2,000 life points with Ties of the Brethren. We have Lilith and Dark Spirit of Banishment. Tribute the Banishment. Going to have a give and take, a Roar and a Trap Trick. Doesn't really matter. They're going to choose Trap Trick, which is quite nice. And we also have a give and take in our hand as well. So what's going to happen now is they're going to summon Gem Knight Sapphire. I mean, if that's what floats your boat, then so be it. Going to link both our monsters off into Master King. This is a very interesting part of the rank ladder, I assure you. Void Banishment, search for Void Apocalypse. We're going to recycle our Dark Spirit, and now we have Void Apocalypse in our hand. May as well activate that. I think it's pretty cool that you get the usage rate as well. Like, all of the cards that I use in my deck is like 0.03% of like the user base that uses them. Oh well, so their turn. What they're going to do, may as well speed this one up. So they're going to summon a second Sapphire, people. It's happening. We have, like, I don't understand, but we have Master King. It somehow survived all these turns. Pay 500 life points to keep it on the field. Void Apocalypse, send Heiress into the graveyard. The interesting thing about Master King is that you can't really like decide which one of the effects you want to trigger first. It's kind of annoying. It seems to only be like a Master Duel problem, but it doesn't really matter. So we've got our monsters on our side of the field with a Dark Spirit recycled. This is like the highlight. This is the pinnacle. This is esports ready gaming, people, because they've summoned Gem Knight Tourmaline, and that has 1600 attack. But we have Dark Spirit of Banishment to revive good old Imprisoned Queen. Now this is a nice thing. Imprisoned Queen Archfiend pays 1,000 life points. With Master King on our side of the field, that is basically a free search. So we just send Heiress into the graveyard and then recycle it and then search out an Archfiend monster. It's pretty cool. We're going to send Skarm, put a recycle a Dark Spirit of Banishment. I wish Archfiends was this sort of like consistent, where you always have Master King out and you always have a way to trigger 1,000 life point effect. Maybe one day, maybe one day. All right, so I think this is game 4 now. So what do we got here? Drawn a bunch of interesting cards. At least we have Void Apocalypse and Fiendish Rhino Warrior. It's not too bad. So we may as well go ahead and activate that. We're going to get rid of the Rhino Warrior and an Heiress. So we get to mill and then we get to search. What's it going to be though? It's going to be nothing, because Ash Blossom is going to stop it in our tracks. And that, you know, against Archfiends is going to like basically end the whole turn. So whoop-de-doo. Anyway, Rhino Warrior can send something. That's going to be Edge Imp Sabers. Now the reason why we do that is because Archfiend's Oath basically means if we stack our deck, we can pay 500 life points and bring it straight back into our hand. Or if it's like an Heiress or something, we can bring it, we can just choose the wrong card and mill it straight away. This is not going to go too well. So they've opened a Luba and branded opening. So this is definitely some sort of like Despia, maybe branded Despia. So they've got Theatre, so that's a polymerization in a field spell. They're going to fuse their 2 monsters together, and they're going to summon Masquerade, the Blazing Dragon. So burning for game, effectively. They can revive their Dramaturge, attack into our monster, and then attack directly for some damage. At least it's not an OTK. Let's see, can Archfiends bring it back from this desperate situation? Our turn. Dark Spirit of Banishment is not too bad. We lose 600 life points because we have to activate cards. Heiress's effect is going to activate. Again, another 600. We're going to bring Emperor, and then we're going to try and destroy some stuff. And then we're also going to try and swing with Dark Spirit of Banishment, you know. Of course, they're going to use Branded in red. I think that just revives and then fusion summons pretty much straight away. Anyway, we're going to send stuff back, summon, and then we're basically losing all of our life points in some desperate attempt to survive. Anyway, Master King Archfiend is going to come onto our side of the field. They're going to negate its effect, but that's cool because we have our deal with Dark Ruler all the way down to 400 life points. I think, you know, we just had enough to swing over all of their monsters to like clear the board, but I think it's not quite going to be enough because we only have 400 life points. So if they basically summon another Masquerade next turn, we can't really do anything. So their turn, what are they going to do? Also notice that they also have Pot of Greed, so that's nice, isn't it? Exactly the same thing as last time, Aluba into branded opening, and then they're going to use Chain to bring Frightfur Patchwork to just extend a bit further, get Polymerization in their hand. You know, it's not too bad. I suppose they'll activate that. Yep. Straight into Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Pop everything if it gets destroyed. I'm not sure we're going to survive this, people. They're going to attack. We can defend ourselves just a tiny bit, but it's not going to matter because we have 400 life points. It's really frustrating because I feel like if we had just enough life points to survive that, we probably would have won because then we could have swung over them. So Archfiends lost in that particular case, but it is what it is. So anyway, our opponent's got a nice and shiny jewel board there. So what deck are we against today, people? Looks like it's going to be Dragonmaid. They're going to have Kitchen Dragonmaid on their side of the field, Dragonmaid Changeover, That's going to bring out their fancy fusion monster, House Dragonmaid. In case you don't know, it tags itself out and it can summon other Dragonmaid monsters, which is pretty cool. We have Void Apocalypse basically every turn, which is nice. They're going to chain it with Max C. Little do they know that Archfiends don't really special summon, at least not in this format. So we send Heiress into the graveyard, bring out Archfiend Emperor. What do we do now? Do we pop their card? No, we're going to activate Falling Down to steal their monster. Get rid of Heiress, probably pop their continuous spell. And I would say swing for a bunch of damage first. Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. And then link them both off. Or not. Okay, sure. Yeah, don't summon Master King. I guess Master King needs 2 Fiends, because Muckraker isn't in this particular deck, is it? Damn. Oh well, Rite of Aramis. Okay, so it's Dragonmaid with some some Adventurer tokens. It's kind of frustrating that we couldn't link that Dragonmaid off, but it's okay. It's okay. We have Lava Golem in our hand. We can bring it back. It's fine. We also have Farfa with Void Apocalypse. Pretty decent. So smack Lava Golem onto their side of the field. Finish a rank 13. I don't know what that means. They get to recycle some stuff. We're going to use Void Apocalypse, send Skarm, Edge Imp Sabers, just put Farfa back to summon a monster, basically to keep us alive, and then bring Dark Spirit of Banishment into the hand, and that way we can revive, because I believe we have, yes, Archfiend Emperor and also Imprisoned Queen, depending on which one we want. We're going to speed this up a tiny bit. They're going to go through their Adventurer plays, probably to search out, you know, a Griffin or something similar. We're going to use Give and Take at this particular point, so they don't get a token. Put Archfiend Emperor onto their side of the field, locks them into Fiends. So what's Dragonmaid going to do now if they have no dragons? Fool. Okay, our turn. Void Apocalypse. We have nothing else to do but send Fiends into our graveyard. But they have plenty of firepower here. Can they deal enough damage to wipe us out? So they're going to attack with Lava Golem first. That was a mistake. Put Empress onto our side of the field, pop it. Empress is going to revive, imprison the Queen, and then just smack over that. But we still have Void Apocalypse, so we can stall it out, people. So Heiress is going to bring Roar into our hand, and now we have so many floating powers now, people. We got Dark Spirit of Banishment, and we have Roar, which means 2 Empress floats. So now we can start bringing it back. We can actually dominate, you know, establish some field presence. Why did they summon Maxi? I don't know. But Lava Golem is going to, you know, pretty much end... Okay, yeah, we didn't even need to do anything. Standby phase, Lava Golem, burn for game. Bing, bang, boom. If only Dragonmaids had Nightmare Cerberus or Nightmare Phoenix, they could have linked over our Emperor. But alas, not today. They're going to have, ooh, a 0.001% card. Looks like it's a Fright Fur deck. They've got Fluffal Dog, and they have Polymerization, and they're going to Fusion Summon. What's it going to be, people? Ooh, Fright Fur Daredevil. It's a level 8 fiend, you know. It's not too bad as an Empress Revive. So when that destroys a monster, it burns for 1000 damage. And then it can also inflict even more damage. It's basically just a big burn card. Of course they have Ash Blossom. Of course they do. Tour Guide is just such a bait for it. And you summon that. And Archfiends in this particular build, it's just game over. Anyway, we've got at least Fiend Griefing and Call of the Archfiend. So if they start doing busy stuff, we can at least revive and stick around for longer. Fluffal Dog is going to bring Wings. Wings is a bit ridiculous with Toy Vendor because they just draw like a million cards. They can activate Polymerization because their Fusion Recycling Plant gives it to them every single turn. All 3 monsters into Sabertooth. Sabertooth is a great card. So it can target monsters in the graveyard and summon them, and it gains attack. And if it's summoned with 3 or more materials, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. It's pretty decent. But we're going to anticipate the Sabertooth by spinning their monster with Fiend Griefing. And we will send our Imprisoned Queen Archfiend into the graveyard, basically so we don't top deck it, because nothing is worse than drawing a monster you can't use. We have Call of the Archfiend, revive the Imprisoned Queen Archfiend, which does mean we're going to lose 1000 life points, but, you know, we'll let him off. Our turn, Torrential Tribute, pretty decent, lose 1000 life points. We're going to get an Heiress search though, so bring Archfiend Empress onto our side of the field. We still can't get around this thing yet, but that's okay. We can at least reduce its attack and then just beat into it for a bunch of damage. Link both of those off, and we're going to bring out Dingirsu for that non-targeted removal. Get rid of it. But then they have Edge Imp Scythe to negate the effect. It's fine. It's fine. It's still a good defensive card. So they're going to Fusion Summon into Whale. Oh no, it doesn't negate anything. It just Fusion Summons and that's it. But then they can use Cruel Whale's effect to pop stuff. But then I'm just going to get rid of Archfiend Empress, so that's fine. Lots of stuff that we can do here. I'm going to speed this up a tiny bit, and on their turn, what they're going to do, ooh, Fright Fur Patchwork, bring out another Polymerization and an Edge Imp Sword. It's a real pure Edge Imp deck here. Get rid of a bunch of cards to summon Leo. I don't think I've seen that in God knows how long. but we're going to Torrential Tribute to try and pop it as much as we can, but then Edge Imp Scythe basically stops that from happening. I think it's pretty much over from here, but never fear. We have another game to redeem ourselves with. They have a Scapegoat mate. It's not really good, is it? And they have some dodgy hero aquatic universe board. We literally got nothing here. Trap Trick might save us. Oh no, Lightning Storm. That is absolutely disgusting. Set 4 pass, everything goes. That is nothing worse. Oh, Dark Spirit of Malice though. At least we can, you know, try something. Solemn, okay. Solemn Judgment, just knowing everything that I've got. That is really disgusting. Everything I've done so far has been destroyed within the blink of an eye. At least they somewhat bricked. So they tried to revive Archfiend Emperor onto their side of the field. That would have locked them into Fiends, which is absolutely hilarious because people don't read. But I'm going to anticipate that with Malice anyway, because I just sort of assume they don't have too much going for them. But anyway, they've got Santa Claus to tribute over it, but then I get to draw a card as well. So that's happy days. And I get to revive Dark Spirit of Malice. So we're bringing it back through our opponent's perhaps incompetence. Summon Rhino Warrior off of Tour Guide, link them both into Master King, and then we get Rhino Warrior's effect to recycle a Fiend if we want to. But we're going to use Cosmic Cyclone because we pay 1,000 from it. Master King will send an Heiress into the graveyard. We can chain block it, so we always get the search, unless they have called by. The dice roll is going to be a 2, so that recycles it back into the deck, and then Heiress is going to search for Raw. Then we just basically swap into attack mode and try and attack. Storming Mirror Force. Bounce everything back into the hand. Unbelievable. Well, we have Malice anyway, so we bring Empress into defense mode. Most likely they will tribute over it. Yeah, exactly. All they're doing is just facilitating our Dark Spirit engine. So recycle that. They'll activate Raigeki. Definitely activate Malice at this point, because then we get an Empress revive. Bang, pop, pop, and then Empress straight back into Archfiend Emperor. So that was clever, wasn't it, mate? And then Neo's Fusion. Ooh, Rainbow Neos can shuffle everything if they decide to. Swing for 4,500. We're going to bring Empress out onto our side of the field, smack into it, and then that will revive Archfiend Emperor. Are they going to activate Rainbow Neos' effect? No, they won't. It's just not looking good for them, to be quite honest with you, because now we'll just pop their Rainbow Neos. Ooh, that's pretty cool, but that's not going to negate the effect though. So Neos Fusion will protect it for a period of time, but we have Void Apocalypse. So what's going to happen? Get rid of Lava Golem, get rid of Skarm. Okay, bring Dark Spirit of Banishment into our hand so we can just stall out for a bit longer. That's perfectly fine. Rainbow Neos now has 0 protection though, so they really need to do something. Even if at this point they use the shuffle all graveyard stuff, we'll just use Malice to recycle. And then I just don't think they read the Dark Spirit cards, to be perfectly honest with you. So we're going to revive Emperor. And again, why don't they just get rid of the graveyard, you know? I mean, we can recycle things, but yeah, damn. Oh, pretty cool. Staff of Despair. Just get rid of all of their attack power, pretty much. Recycle all of our Dark Spirits into our hand, which is all nice and dandy. And then we'll just pop... Yeah, okay. We could have popped their face down and then just crashed. But I think either would have worked fine. Well, they're going to top deck anything particularly useful. Harpy's Feather Duster. Just, again, facilitating Malice. Exactly. You surrender, mate. Not too much. I mean, we've got Ties of the Brethren, which is going to set up some sort of lock, because we can use Lilith, get rid of Dark Spirit of Banishment to search for 3 cards. In this case, 3 Fiend Griefing. Because we have Trap Trick, so we can use Fiend Griefing to send, say, Vice King, and then Trap Trick to bring Give or Take onto our side of the field. Ooh, Chronomoly. That's cool. I love the aesthetic of Chronomoly. I just wish they were a tiny bit better. Although they have a 500 life points payment, maybe that could work with Archfiends, who knows. I have Unending Nightmare, so that's going to pop whatever we like, whenever we like, basically. They have Swords of Revealing Light, which is a questionable decision, but it's okay. We kind of need to get around this, so if we put a monster in the graveyard, that will facilitate our lock. Oh, they're going to do it themselves. It's okay. So that's doing exactly what we need. Spin that straight back into the deck, use Trap Trick. Most likely it's going to be Give and Take. Yes, and we'll activate that whenever we like. Probably if they're going to try and special summon something. If your opponent controls a card and you control nothing, you can just summon it. Okay, but they tribute summoned. Sweet. Unending Nightmare destroyed their Swords of Revealing Light. And then we're just going to swing for a tiny, tiny bit of damage. 2,000, what was that? 2,100 or something? Yeah. Crystal Bones. Okay, yeah. We'll just Archfiend lock them, and at that point, they clearly read the card and thought, well, we can't do anything. So Master King control is quite cool. It's definitely a bit suboptimal right now, but I do love being able to like constantly send stuff into the graveyard and recycle them and even lock people out of the game. It's really interesting, but hopefully it gets a bit more consistent with like future releases and everything. Okay, so we have 2 Fiend Griefing face down, and then we're going to use Ties of the Brethren to spit out a couple of cards, notably Lilith, get rid of Banishment. This is going to bring Trap Trick, Give and Take, or another Give and Take, so forcing my opponent to pick the one I want. Their turn, whenever they are trying to do something here, we're going to Give and Take and lock them. So that's going to put Emperor onto their side of the field because we drew that first, which is always nice. Now they can't special summon anything, so they tribute summoned Psyframe Driver to get over the Archfiend lock. But we have Dark Spirit of Banishment anyway. Fiend Griefing, get rid of that driver. It's basically a brick anyway, so putting that back into the deck is always nice. Fiendish Rhino Warrior, Lilith, so chain block, bang bang bang. Lilith is going to search for Torrential Tribute, Roar, or Trap Trick. At this point it doesn't matter too much, and then we're going to send Empress to recycle the Dark Spirit anyway. That's really all what I wanted to do. Now I have Cosmic Cyclone, not looking good for this weird Shaddoll looking deck. Trap Trick is going to get rid of Imperm. I feel like it's Bricktopia for a lot of my opponents in this particular case. Send that back into the deck, send Vice King, and then Dark Spirit and like Banishment and Malice are going to recycle themselves. Farfa, not too bad. Summon it, activate its effect, just banish and swing for game. Clean victory, people. Archfiends climbing the ladder. They go first. Ooh, Perform Pals. Ooh, Duelist Alliance. Pendulums can be runaway strong, they can summon a bunch of things, negate a bunch of things. Alright, they're going to Pendulum Summon into the Pendulum Sorcerer. Pendulum Sorcerer is going to get its effect so that they can destroy some stuff, and that will facilitate the package just a bit more because then they can put additional Pendulum Scales down for additional effects, right? They've got Skullcrabat Joker, which is a great card, and then they've got Celestial on their side of the field as well, like Celestial Magician, which doesn't really do much, but we're going to Kaiju over it anyway. And then Tour Guide into Rhino Warrior, so this is pretty standard. Straight into Master King, definitely Master King control all the way through this series. Archfiend Heiress and Master King, block it, get a free search. So that is going to roll, which number? 2, straight back into the deck. That's what I'm talking about, people. And then Empress, because we have Void Apocalypse, so we'll just take that brick out of our deck, discard it immediately, and then send Scarm so that we have a Dark Spirit of Banishment most likely on our side of the field. I've set Soul Demolition, which is an incredible card. It's really old, it's really underrated, but you can just target a Fiend monster. We have a Fiend monster in your graveyard and you can banish everything else. Summon Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon on their side of the field. Well, basically pendulum summon everything they possibly can. Looks like they're going to Exceed into Absolute Dragon. That's really decent because then when it leaves, it will turn into Vortex, which is a spin and a negate. And then swing for game from the looks of it. They're going to attack, and then they're going to try again. But I waited to use Dark Spirit of Banishment to revive Archfiend Empress. So I didn't want Absolute Dragon to get destroyed because then they would have spun my Empress immediately. I didn't want to lose that quickly. They're going to summon Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. Use Void Apocalypse, discard, send Vice King, use our Dark Spirit of Banishment to recycle itself, and then we may as well try and attack, and then they're going to revive or summon Mirage Dragon, and it's their turn. Could we win? Could they win? What's it going to happen? What's it going to be? Ooh, Endymion, the mighty master of magic. We use Give and Take at this point. We should have done it earlier, but I just didn't anticipate a tribute summon. So we're going to bring Vice King Requiem onto their side of the field, locking them into DDDs. And now it doesn't really matter if they float into Vortex because, they can't. So we use Dark Spirit of Banishment to get rid of Absolute Dragon now by summoning Archfiend Empress. So pop that, don't get the effect because of Vice King. I really love the Vice King lock. You could use Edo, the Supreme Magical Force, but it's a bit, if they get rid of it, then you lock yourself. So anyway, send Archfiend Heiress into the graveyard, bring Archfiend Emperor, normal summon it, pop a couple of cards, and we're going to recycle our Dark Spirit once it gets destroyed. And here we're in a pretty good spot. So we've got Banishment to recycle, and we have Griefing to disrupt. We have Soul Demolition. Doesn't look like I'm going to use it, which is really unfortunate. So they're going to attack, trying to crash into my Empress, and we just protect with Dark Spirit of Banishment, forcing them to keep that lock on their side of the field. Use Fiend Griefing because we need extra searches, extra revives. So we're going to bring Imprison Queen Archfiend so that we can easily discard it off of Void Apocalypse, And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're also going to send Torbus from the Underworld, which is another decent Master King target. It has a mandatory effect where it has to spin a card from either graveyard back into the deck, and that's quite good for either disrupting the opponent's graveyard or just recycling monsters that you really need out of your deck, out of your graveyard. Use Staff of Despair to reduce their attacks to make it even easier to win the game. They're desperately trying to crash into our Empress, and we're just using banishment to circumnavigate. They probably think I'm the worst kind of player, just keeping them locked into, into oblivion. Another Fiend Griefing, which is pretty cool. Another noticing, they're like, ooh, there's no Dark Spirit of Banishment. Maybe this could be the moment. Nah, I don't think so, people. Fiend Griefing, probably a Lava Golem, yep. And because no monsters changed, there's no replay battle, so it goes straight into the damage step, so Dark Spirit of Banishment can activate basically immediately, keeping our Archfiend Empress nice and fresh. They keep attacking, they keep summoning monsters for Empress to attack over. I think they finally realized that their life points are getting decreased as time goes on. Staff of Despair, and then we're going to just recycle a Dark Spirit, and then we just summon it, attack into Vice King, and then attack directly with Archfiend Empress for game. So that was one way to bring it back, people.